Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited to have you on the Blue Whale Pod.
I'm excited to be here.
Amazing. You're listening to the Blue Whale Pod, hosted by me, Nikki from Blue Whale Communications. The pod is a place for business owners and entrepreneurs to come together and chat all things business, marketing, and entrepreneurship. That includes the highs, the lows, the lessons and surprises, and everything in between. If you have an idea for an episode or you'd like to be a guest, email me at Nikki, that's Nikki, at bluewhalecommunications.ca. We're going to talk about videography and video for small businesses. But before we dive in, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and kind of what led you to doing what you do today?
Yeah, for sure. I'm Sarah. I'm the owner and creator of Sarah Smith Video. I'm a videographer, and for the past 8 years, I actually worked for Shaw TV, running the community channel here in Vernon. Before that, it was in Whistler, and before that, I was in Merritt. Running the community channel, I wore a ton of hats. I was the social media person. I was the TV guide scheduler. I was the volunteer trainer. I also created stories, little stories about people in the community, as well as community events, parades, hockey games. And before that, I went to the College of Sports Media, and that's where I got my broadcasting start. I'm a big sports fan, so Blue Jays and Canucks are my two teams. And that's what kind of called me to go the broadcasting route, was to be able to talk about sports. And from there, I got an editing internship at Sportsnet. And then I moved back from Toronto, where my school was, and then started my career with Shaw TV.
Nice.
So, anyone that has followed community television, it used to be a bit bigger and it got smaller and smaller. And then Rogers bought Shaw TV out last summer. They offered everybody buyouts. I took it, and here we are.
Here we are. It's funny. So I went to school for journalism and I also wanted to be I was on the fence. I wanted to either like international stories or sports journalism.
Yeah.
And when I went to school, we had to do a broadcast element. We had no choice. And the broadcast was the part that made me like leave journalism and go into communications because I just couldn't, I could not. So it's
No,
funny.
yeah, you have
Opposite.
to. It's a lot of practice. And I mean, no matter what, you still get a little bit of nerves. But my first like on air um, part was sideline reporting for a hockey game, like a junior league in Newmarket, Ontario.
Yeah.
And we got to pick who we were going to interview during the intermission.
Cool.
So I picked the player that won, like that got a goal, and he was the captain. And so pull him over and start talking. He speaks no English. He was French. So that's I kind of got thrown into it pretty you just got to roll with the punches. And it was a very simple interview.
Yeah, that's funny. Do you speak French?
I do not. No, that would have made it a lot easier. I stopped I stopped taking French. I think in BC it was mandatory to take it till grade 9, and then I switched to
Oh,
Spanish. So I'm not
okay.
good at either of them now. So that's great.
Okay. So what are maybe some like, because obviously now you've like switched into video more for small businesses. So what are some similarities or differences between like the work that you're doing with Shaw and videography for small businesses?
Yeah, for sure. I always found when people came to me with Shaw with a story, there often was like a small business involved. And being the community television channel, we couldn't do a lot of straight up promotion. If there was a story there, like a backstory that affected the community, or it was just a really good human like concept, like we could do it, but we weren't allowed to talk prices. We weren't allowed to sell. We weren't allowed to do too much of that. So I
Right.
always were kind of doing these stories where it was like the background of a not for profit, or the beginning of a business, or all these stories, without the actual like business getting too involved. So there's a very like quite a big similarity there. Um, Also, like the whole small business and community feel together, like I've noticed since being since launching Sarah Smith Media, like everyone has each other's backs and we're all like rooting for each other. And that's kind of what I had to do with Shaw TV. Like I was all the community members' biggest fans, you know? Like we
Mhm.
just wanted to showcase what was so good about them. And that's like me as a videographer, that's what I want to do for businesses too.
Nice. I love that. I feel like, oh, actually, I'll say quickly, I think you're so right. Like, especially I find here in Vernon, where we are, the community of small business owners is so strong, stronger than I've felt in other communities that I've been in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's closely knit and everyone is excited to hear what you're doing and why you're doing it and people are ready to promote for you and it was really like it was really surprising actually and like not a lot of competition. I've made friends with people that could kind of be competition. There's nothing there. It's more like let's collaborate. How can we help each other?
Yeah, 100%. And I love that. It's been really nice, like transitioning into that. And I actually feel like that's maybe a good segue into my next question, which like I feel like small business owners are starting to realize the importance of photos, right? And like brand photography. So like why video? Like I feel like this photo conversation is just finally coming to the forefront. So why video and not photography?
Well, I think that, and I try it with my own marketing. I think you kind of want as many tools in your belt as possible. So if someone's going
Mhm.
to go to um, your website and it's only pictures, if they're a video person, maybe you're not connecting with them. But if you have both, you're hitting both, right? So I think they can really help each other out. You can even keep it simple and like have a picture and what is the backstory of that picture? Is there behind the scenes? Did you go for a hike to get that beautiful picture? Like they can kind of bounce off each other too. The one thing with video is you can get a little bit more of that personal touch. So a photo can only go as deep as what words you put with it, or if you put words, at least with video, you can kind of hear the voice behind the face.
Mhm. Are there any instances where you say like 100% video is the better option in terms of branding or impact?
Um, I would say yeah, like I for a website, especially in this day and age where Google and SEO is they are promoting, they're prioritizing video. So for your about us, like you might have a lovely family picture because it's a family run business. You can also have a video there too because the SEO is going to pick up on that and the words that you're saying in it. And it just kind of makes your story a little bit more authentic than just picture and words. They get to know the real you. So I would say, yeah, on a website about us page is definitely a bit more impactful with the video.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I've always thought of it as a way to, like we were just talking about connecting with your audience and sharing more of your story and your personality. I actually didn't realize that there was like an SEO impact to video as well. So,
Yeah, it's they definitely Google and SEO are prioritizing it. There's just more words and more keywords because usually you're gonna have a write up as well as a video, so you're hammering the algorithm with both. Um,
right.
Also, video, if people are watching the whole minute and a half, that's a minute and a half that they're on their website. And Google wants people to stay on your website. A picture only
Yeah.
takes a second to look at. So,
Right. That's a really good point.
mhm.
So, what are some examples of videos for small business owners? Like, if someone is saying, that's great, I get the value, I understand the concept, but what would I possibly do on video for a minute or a minute and a half?
So there's a couple different ways that you can do, say, an about us page video. Personally, I like to call them, and my company calls them company brand videos. And the
Hmm.
way I go about those is I do a sit down interview with the client and I kind of pull out the story and kind of piece it together with matching candid footage from them doing their work. We can also script it more. So I can work with a client, or a client can come up with a script and be like, this is what I want people to hear, this is what I want people to see, and we can go shoot it. So those are kind of the two main things that I would say would go on like an about us or on your website, landing page even.
Mhm.
What I like about the unscripted way is it's a little bit easier for the client. Like I when I do these type of videos, I talk to them and I figure out like kind of the key points, and then I get to just sit with them and have like like a normal conversation like we're having. And then people get to see the real them. It's like they're talking to them instead of them being talked at. Like, this is my company. I do this. I'm selling you this. It's more of a authentic getting to know the business, and that helps build trust, especially if you're a service-based industry and you're going into people's houses or you're looking at their finances or you're doing something where there's a level of trust there. Looking into like the real you kind of helps that, I think.
Mhm.
Oh, I know this person.
Yeah, 100%. I've heard a few people say that sometimes they'll meet someone in person for the first time and the response is you're the exact same in person as you are online. And I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
yeah, exactly like what you were just saying helps, helps showcase the real you, right?
Yeah, and it also puts people at ease. A lot of people get a little nervous in front of a camera or a microphone, and if they know that they have to talk for 45 seconds and they have to say this and they have to say that,
Yeah.
like that's tough for a lot of people. I mean, or they read and then you're like, I'm watching them read the screen right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anything to make it more natural because that's what connects people to people.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any tips for people who are nervous on camera, like how they can feel more at ease?
Well, I it does help to not look at the camera. So
Mm.
I know a lot of quick reels and stuff like that. Uh, Most people try and like look at the camera. There's no harm in setting it up a little bit beside and looking to the side like an interview type.
Right.
Um, the other thing is, yeah, I mean, if it's just you and the camera, practice, practice, and just leave the camera on and just keep talking and then pick your favorite one.
Mhm.
And if you must have a script, you better have a good teleprompter. Don't put it slightly above your phone or your computer
Right.
because the camera will catch it and then everyone will know that. And then it's not, you're not getting the same impact there.
Yeah. Do you have I like what is your onboarding process like? I assume by the time like you're at filming mode for yourself, your clients are comfortable with you and you've kind of gone through some of these tips and things like that already.
Yeah. So I do have like a lead form that'll connect people straight into my client relationship management program. And then I have a couple questionnaires, like a vision concept. So that goes through
Mhm.
values, key points, the tone, um, like how often do you want to post? Because I like for my business personally, it could be a one off type thing, or maybe someone wants to set up monthly. And then from there, I often have a little bit of a conversation before that vision concept goes out, but if not, then we'll talk again after, and we just dive
Mhm.
into all those points and really figure it out. And then yeah, I kind of work pretty closely until that production day, and then production day comes, and yeah, they know me, but people still get nervous,
Yeah.
and that's okay. That's my job to make you look not nervous, and to make
Nothing.
you comfortable. So
Yeah. I like the you mentioned sort of like a monthly service or package, I guess, if you're planning maybe your social media content out in advance. Do you find that's becoming more popular versus like a website video, for example?
Um, I think people want both. So you get that long
Mhm.
format as in like 2.5 minutes. But from a 2.5 minute video, like you could probably pull, and the other footage that I say I got from coming to your place of work, you could probably pull 15 to 20 smaller pieces of content. So that's kind of when I tell people that they're like, oh yeah, let's do that instead of like planning out. a little video, a little video, a little video, a little,
Mhm.
to to an exact detail, get as much as you can in that one day of shooting, and then have the big one and then have all these little ones. So I think that's kind of the more bang for your buck, essentially. Uh,
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned a 2.5 minute video. So how long should a video be?
So for your about us, I love the 2 minute mark. I think that you can get everything in there. So I aim for between a minute and a half and 2 minutes. These days people are so busy and they have 50 tabs open and everything is going on. So yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I try to max out at 2 minutes. And then from that 2 minutes, extra little clips and stuff like that, that you can do a bunch of little 10 to 30-second videos from that bulk of work that you've already gotten.
Yeah. I love that. As obviously as a content marketer, like I always talk to people about batching content and planning ahead. And I think that's such a smart way. And then your reels are essentially created for you for a month or two, depending on how many you get. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of the pre-production planning. If that's what we want to do, then maybe I ask a couple in extra interview questions that I know aren't going in the main video, but they're going to be good for later down the line, right? And then you have that, and you can try and keep it timeless and evergreen, and then you're set for a while. Or another thing is that I like to offer is storage and extra footage. So when I work with clients, I ask, do you want me to hold on to this? Do you want me to shoot extra stuff? And then say in 6 months you hit a lull, but you need marketing video, but you
Mhm.
can't pay for another whole production. And then we'll talk about what kind of videos we can pull from what I already have and I've held on to.
That's really great. I like that a lot. Which I love how our conversation is going because it's just sort of like leading me into my questions. I don't want to get like too numbers heavy,
Yep.
but I feel like something that a lot of people will, you know, get stuck on is probably cost or the perceived cost of, hiring a videographer, having videos edited and produced and all of that. So what kind of minimum range would somebody be looking at, or like a maximum range if it's like a full, long produced video? How can people enter, I guess, like the video area,
The video area. Yeah. So
video content? Yeah.
obviously, it is a huge scale. Like if someone wanted one-off video that's 30 seconds, they have the script for it, we can knock it out really quick. Could probably get that done for $400 to $500. Uh,
Mhm.
basically, how I figure it out is how long is it going to take to shoot, and then I have to estimate how long it's going to take to edit. So we can make things if the video is going to be more simple or they can't afford as much of a um, production, like, they're like, "Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
I just need it really simple," we can bring that price down. So, what I like to do is offer, 3 different price points, and then another thing I do is offer add-ons. So, one add-on that I didn't think of at first, and I think it's really gonna come in handy is, a content library. So, if I do we're still talking prices, but say I do a company brand video for you, and it's the one where I do the interview and it's a little bit more editing extensive because you haven't given me a script or a storyboard and yada yada.
Mhm.
Let's just price that at $2,000. It's almost a full day of editing. And then if we want more reels from that, it would kind of go up from there. If you want it
Mhm.
more simple, we can bring it down a little bit. It would all depend on the visuals that you expect and what you want.
Mhm.
Um, the add-on that I was talking about is the content library. So from my footage and from the shoot and from the story, I offer to give you the clips raw, but edited, so not raw. So they will be nicely colored. They'll have a clean in and a clean out, and then you can add that onto your package. So if you are okay, if you're pretty good at doing your own Instagram reels, you can take 3 of those clips, throw in music, and then you have like a professional looking video, but you did the editing part. So
Right.
that's an option for someone that just wants some extra content too.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, full scale, like, you could come and talk to me and be like, "This is what I want. I only have this much money," and I can talk about how we can break it down to make it that and what that would entail. So, yeah. No, it's tricky with the numbers, I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, totally. One of the things that kind of resonated with me as you're talking is, like you come, tell me what you want, and we'll figure out how to make it work or like what that could look like or what package might be the best fit. And I think when we're talking about small businesses, like this is really important for me too, is like being small business friendly, right? Like
Mhm.
I think in a small town or when you're trying to support small businesses, I think that's really important to work with people, right? Like we're not talking about Fortune 500 companies who can do all the things that they want to do, right? And then so yeah. Um, this was lovely. As we kind of wrap up, what is maybe your top piece of advice for a entrepreneur or small business owner who's wanting to get into having more video content? What would you say to them?
I'd say first look at what you like to do. Like, do you like creating your own videos? That's a big thing because if it's really taxing and you're like, "I'm spending way too much time," just start looking to people like you and to myself and see what those options are because like I said, there's a big scale, and if you are just wanting 1 video a month, like there's a way to figure it out and figure out how long you're spending too. So, if you sit down and start a reel and 2 hours later you're posting it, could you have done something better with your time?
Right.
Well, so
Yeah.
that would be my biggest tip is like, do you like it? How much time are you spending? And if you don't like it and you're spending too much time, reach out for help. And you know what? Just like follow people like me, like yourself, and just start like collecting those tips and just have us like a talk. Like I love meeting people for coffee and just talking about what they're doing, what their challenges are, the problems they're having.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a really great tip. Yeah, for sure. Okay, great. So if someone wants to reach out to you, how can they contact you?
They can check out my website, www.sarahsmithmedia.ca. My email is also info@sarahsmithmedia.ca. And I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I'm just Sarah Smith.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. I had a really great time chatting. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, of
And
course. I'd do it again.
yeah, perfect. Well, we'll get you on the books for season two.
Amazing. Well, good luck with
Awesome.
the rest of your podcast. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.